ISUPK presents the Lord's 57th Annual Passover, April 4th, 2026 in Houston, Texas. You do not want to miss this one, Israel. Shalom.
All right. Let's clap it up. All right. Once again, this is Monday night history class. We're the ISUPK out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. We've been bringing this truth since 1969. And what's that truth? That truth is the so-called blacks, the so-called Hispanics, and the so-called natives are the true biblical Jews of the Bible. And the devil is the oppressor that the Bible speaks of. You understand? And with that, but once again, we've been saying this every week, and we're going to say this every week until the end times come. We are in the end times. You understand? We are absolutely in World War III. A lot of us don't understand it because we've been so oppressed. We've been so propagandized that we don't know what's going on in the earth. We think it's business as usual, but it's not. The title of tonight's class is America, Democracy or Dictatorship. I believe we don't understand what a democracy and what a dictatorship is. And truly speaking, if you look at a democracy and a dictatorship are one and the same thing. We're going to go through it tonight. We're going to talk about some things and we're going to get into it. You understand? We got 3 topics within this class. The first topic is deception. The second topic is violence. And the third topic is recompense. You understand? Those are the 3 topics. Those are the 3 parts of the class tonight. You understand? Now, like we said before, a lot of us don't understand what a democracy is. Alazar, can you pull up the definition of democracy?
Okay.
You got it. You got that in hand. Can you do that? Okay. Hey, listen, the democracy is a heavy thing, and we've been deceived. You understand? That's why this first part of this is called the deception. You understand? Because we've been deceived in what democracy is. We don't know what democracy is. Our oppressor knows exactly what democracy is. You understand? We believe democracy makes us equal to everybody. We believe that democracy gives us rights. You understand? We believe that, you understand, America is one big melting pot. You understand? Well, I beg to differ. You understand? And we're going to find out today. You understand? You got that, Alazar?
Sir.
Go ahead, read that for me.
This is the definition of democracy. A system of government by the whole population or all the eligible members of a state, typically through elected representatives.
Right. Exactly. Right. I'm gonna give you the same definition, but in a different wording. You understand? It says democracy, a system of government where supreme power is vested in the people, exercised either directly or through elected representatives. You understand? So basically what it's saying is you have elected representatives, people that represent you within the government, right? You tell these people what you want done, and these people set out to get what you want done. You understand? That's how a democracy is supposed to operate. That's how it's supposed to work. Well, listen, democracy derives from the Greek word demos and kratos. Demos meaning people. You understand? And kratos meaning rule. It's supposed to mean like the people rule. Like, you understand, the people have power of rulership. You understand what I'm saying? That's what democracy, right? That's what democracy. I mean, let me ask you a question, Alazar. What do you think democracy means? What do you think? What is your definition? What do you think? Not the definition, but what do you think?
I always thought like democracy was pretty much where you can vote for your next president, your next elected official in any aspect.
Right.
That's what I always believed it was.
And you believe exactly what they want us to believe. You understand? You have the power to change. You have the power to pick, who you want to represent you. You have the power to say, yes, this is what I want done, or no, I don't want that done. That's the deception part of democracy. Think about this, right? Democracy has been back since the Greco-Roman times. You understand? Greece, Athens, Sparta, all of those places had some kind of form of a democracy. You understand? And every time you had that kind of form of democracy, the people suffered under democracy. The people who were in Congress, the people who were in Senate, the people who were in government, they thrived. You understand? They loved the way it operated, pretty much like the way it's operating today, as usual. You understand? We believe, and it's forced into us as children to believe that democracy is the thing that makes the world better. It makes the world brighter. You understand? It makes everybody happy and things like that, when that's the furthest thing from the truth. Think about it, right? That's how Athens fell. That's how Greece fell. That's how Rome fell. That's how all of these countries that uses a democracy, that's how they fall. That's how Great Britain, that's how Great Britain fell. You understand? Great Britain used to be the power of the earth. That's how it fell. You understand? So it's democracy. When you look at it, when you stand back and really look at democracy, democracy is in retrospect, democracy is a lie. It's a deception. It's to deceive you. It's to make people do what they want the people to do. I mean, think about this, right? We in America today. Look at how America's being run. You understand what I'm saying? Every year, if you go ahead, I didn't mean to cut you off, but think about, we've been marching for civil rights since 1955, been voting, just like a democracy says you're supposed to do. If you want to see action, you have to vote. That's what we're always told, right? You don't vote, you can't speak. That's what we've always been told. You don't have to say if you don't vote. Well, we've been voting, and what has changed? Think about it, right? We still don't own anything. We still don't own our own schools. Still don't feed our own people. You understand? We still don't clothe our own people. We still don't have any natural. Think about this, right? Even those little small African nations over in Africa, they have natural resources. They control their water resources to an extent. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
They have the things that they need, and they control their own lives to an extent. A lot of those African nations, of course, they're warring with each other, but they still have that choice. You understand?
Okay.
We're under the thumb of the oppressor and just happen to be under a democracy. Same thing with Black people in Ireland. Same thing with Black people in France. Same thing with Black people in the UK. Same thing with Black people in Europe, period. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Go ahead.
If I could, I just had a question.
Go ahead.
All right, because when in the Pledge of Allegiance, it says, it says it's a republic.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was always confused on that. Like, is it a democracy or is it a republic?
A republic is just what a democracy is. So a republic is supposed to be rulership by the people through representatives.
Okay.
It's the same thing. That's why I say, and to the republic for which it stands. This nation stands for the republic. Now, the republic is your leaders dictating what you need.
Okay.
Your leaders dictate what laws are passed and what laws are not passed. Think about it, right? Certain things that we are against, especially here in Baltimore, right? You had a lot of people that were against abortion, right?
Okay.
In the 70s into the 80s, a lot of black families were against abortion. But how does an abortion law get passed in Baltimore when you have most of the people against abortion laws? That was a no-no. Think about it. If a lot of us, I'm going to say in my age group, wouldn't be here if a lot of us were for abortion, or if that was a thing that was an option for us at that time. You understand what I'm saying? So we look at a democracy as though it's a system created so that the people can rule and the people can get what they feel, the majority feel that they want. You understand what I'm saying? Think about this, right? When Trump ran the first time, right? When he won the first time, he had millions of people against him, right?
Okay.
He had a lot of people against him. Grab him by the whatever, whatever. You understand? All of the stuff that was against him, but he still became president. Think about when who was that? Was that Bush? Or that was Bush that he won the he lost the popular vote, but won the electoral college, right?
Okay, was Bush.
It was Bush, right?
Okay.
He won the electoral college, right? Who has those votes? Electorates in Congress, in the Senate, right? Depending on how many, I think it's is it Congress or the Senate? It's the Senate, depending on how many electorals you have in your state, right?
Okay.
So let's do the math. Let's just say you have a state with let's just say 700,000 people. And in that state, because I know they go by numbers, right? But in that state, half of the people say yay, half say no, right? So that's a state with 5 electorals. So he wins those 5 electorals because he got the edge, right? Or he got the half and half mark. I don't know, something like that, right? But at the end of the day, you can have more of the popular vote, but because he got electoral votes from the biggest states with the most, he wins the election. That's not an election won by the people, right? That's an election won by the government.
Okay.
You understand? But we get in the frame of thinking that, oh yeah, this is a democracy. One vote, one person. You understand? You cast your vote, you know what I mean? But we've seen on several occasions that that's not the truth. America is a deceptional state, is a state of deception. A democracy is a state of deception. Listen, people stay in rulership because of the way that democracies are run. Even in Roman times, even in the Greco-Roman times or Greece times, when they had democracies or had a democratic way, those people that stood on top controlled everything. No matter, think about it, right? Remember when they talked about, I think it was Commanding General Yohanna talked about why they had those Roman games to keep the people's minds occupied, right?
Okay.
Keep the people's minds occupied so that they wouldn't realize that they were being ruled over and not participating in making the rules. You're being ruled over. Think about that's why a lot of those emperors were overthrown or assassinated and things like that. That's why senators and congressmen were inept for being assassinated, because people back then started to begin to understand where the real power lied at. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it says, think about this, right? We talk about free elections. What's free elections? You ever heard of that? You heard that term before, right?
Okay.
Free elections. What does that mean?
I never know.
You know, what's a free election? Like you got to go pay. You understand?
Right,
To cast a vote. That's what it sounds like. You know, you used to had to pay, but now it's free. You know what I mean? But the free election is an election in which coercion is comparatively uncommon. Now it says comparatively uncommon. Coercion. I mean, when you coerce somebody to do something one way or another,
right?
Coercion is comparatively uncommon. It didn't say totally uncommon. It said comparatively. What are they comparing it to? It says comparingly. You understand what I'm saying? So every word that America uses, especially within law, is a deception. They say words and make you think that something. So comparatively, what is it being compared to? Is it being compared to the unrighteous system that it was before? What is it comparing itself to? You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And basically, it's saying basically it's an election in which coercion is almost not there, but it is there because you have lobbyists and everything else in government, right? Lobbyists do what? They lobby, they coerce people into doing certain things in a particular way. They coerce people and say, listen, I'll give you this for this. What's the term called? This for that. What's the term? I'll give you this for that. It's a
scratch my back.
Yeah, that's it. But it's a
political term.
It's a political term. But it means just what you say. If you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Listen, I'll get you elected if you give me tickets to the fight. Me and my wife and my family a trip to somewhere. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Then they go out and they start pushing their propaganda into the streets. Oh, this person needs to be this, or they push negative propaganda, just like we see the negative propaganda about Commanding General Yohana, about the ISUPK. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
When we the only people out there feeding our people, we the only people out there clothing our people. You understand? We the only people out there comforting and being there for our people. You understand what I'm saying? But that's the type of propaganda, and that's the reason. Listen, when I first came into the truth, I tried to get a couple of brothers to come in, right? When I showed them a video of Commanding General Yohana, you know, I didn't even know at the time. This is like I was still a young man. And I sent the video to some people, and first thing they immediately hit me back with was, oh, what they call him? What they call it? Under the
hate group.
Yeah, hate group. That was the first thing came out their mouth. I never heard of it. You know what I mean? I had never heard of it. Of course, I'm telling you, I'm a young man, and this is the propaganda that they put out there. America, this is what America does. When we looking at things that say coercion and cooperatively uncommon and things like that, these are all trigger words to make you feel like, oh, they got our best interest in mind when they really don't.
Oh, okay. So
go ahead.
Oh, I got the term for you. It's quid pro.
That's pro right there. Quid pro quo. Quid pro quo. That's it right there. Listen, that was a term that we learned in junior high school. Quid pro quo. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
And not to go too far off, but that's another thing that they doing to us too, right? Is the things that I learned when we were in elementary school and junior high school, they're no longer teaching because they want you to fall further and further and further back of understanding. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of generations below and that's coming up now are not going to understand, like just like you said, looking at the republic. In the republic for which is stand one nation under God, you understand? And you have to understand too, when they say one nation under God, what God are they talking about?
Right. Yeah.
Right. So now we look at it spiritually and say they're talking about God, right? We look at it, some people look at it like that and say they're talking about God. And then a lot of people look at it and look at how America's built on capitalism and then look at it as America speaking about money, one nation under God, one nation under money. You understand? If you look at America now, America's been built on capitalism. So all of those little words that they use, everything, every little word that America, listen, America, what's the scripture say? They lie in bed at night.
Yeah.
Can you grab that for me? You know what I'm talking about?
Come on, cousin.
Grab that for me. Grab that for me. This scripture describes America to the T. It describes our oppressor. I mean, by word. You understand what I'm saying? America is a destructive nation. And America only knows one thing. America only knows kill, crush, and destroy. That's it.
Oh, God.
America walks over all these other nations to get what America wants. America has destroyed her allies to get what she wants. Hey, listen, Henry Kissinger in 1970, or is it 1960, 60, 69, 73, one of those years. That was the quote that Henry Kissinger said. He said, America, to be an ally of America, or no, to be an enemy of America,
Come on.
But to be an ally of America is fatal. Now, a lot of people were saying that quote was something that he was using, and he was using that quote just to describe the situation that America was in. And if she moved too far, then she would destroy her allies. But as we can see, America is doing just that with her allies right now. And the European Union. America is destroying her allies. America is unaliving. And that's what's the word I want to use? That's not unaliving them, physically unaliving them, but mentally destroying her allies. He picked them apart. America picked her allies apart, made them become dependent in her, and then dropped them off. You ever had a girl that you liked, or that you just wanted to get with, and after you got what you wanted, you dumped her, and then she just went into a fit and whined and cried about it? That's what the European Union is doing now with America. You found it?
I'm still trying to find it, sir. It's a lot.
Yeah, but that scripture right there describes America. You understand? We look at America, and like I said, because of the propaganda of America, we look at America like America's the greatest nation on the face of the earth. We always looked at those Arab nations as terrorists. Anybody from over in the Middle East was a terrorist. You understand? I'm not saying that they the greatest, most righteous people in the world. But America made us believe that they were the worst, when in actuality, the wool had been pulled over our eyes. America, we have been living in the worst nation on the face of the earth the whole time.
Okay.
You got it? Let's read that. Wait, let the people know where you at, too.
This is Micah, chapter 2, verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work.
Go ahead, read it again. Micah, what?
This is Micah chapter 2, verse 1.
Okay, go ahead.
Woe to them that devise iniquity.
Think about that, right? Think about that. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity. Woe to them that devise evil. You understand? That's what America does. America devises evil. Think about how could you possibly make another nation, an ally of yours, stop getting oil from a cheaper source to buy it from you for 3 times more. And your oil is not even as good as the oil that they were getting before.
Right.
Because America had devised iniquity to make the European Union rely on America. We was talking about that in the radio show when we talked about the European Union relying on America to battle with Russia. The NATO countries to war with America. And remember, I don't know if people remember, right? But America at the beginning of that war was at the forefront of that war. And then America slowly backed off, especially when she began to see that Russia was beginning to crush those NATO allies. America backed up, and then America removed herself from that war. You understand what I'm saying? It says, woe to them, destruction to them that devise iniquity, to destruction to America. Go ahead.
And work evil upon their bed.
Hey, listen, America works evil upon their bed. Listen, America lays awake, stays up late at night. You ever heard of somebody saying that little term, burning the midnight oil? That's what America does. America stays up. America will stay up for days trying to devise a plan to destroy the people. Listen, look at what America did to the Native American Indians.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Psalms 55 and 20. You understand? Well, no, stay right where you are, right? I'm a grab that. You understand? We're gonna go back and forth. You understand? But America,
I can grab it.
No, I got it. I got it. It says he have put forth his hands as such that be at peace with him. Listen, that doesn't only stand for the Native American Indian, but that also stands for America's allies. You understand? He have put forth his hand as such that be at peace with them, and he has broken his covenant. That covenant that he had with the Native American Indians, he broke that covenant.
Right.
That covenant that he had with the European Union and NATO, he broke that covenant. America, listen. America broke a covenant with Lebanon. America broke a covenant with Syria, nations that backed them, Middle East nations. America breaks covenants every day. This is nothing new for America, and I can't, for the life of me, understand why nations still want to ally with America, even after watching America destroy her own allies. You understand? But that's the propaganda that America puts out there, when America shows people running on the beach, having fun and everything like that. Think about it, right? The gliss and the glamour of America is America never being attacked. And I'm talking about mainland America, not Hawaii. You understand? Not the islands or whatever they have. You understand? America's never been attacked. And that's a beautiful thing to a lot of these countries, because a lot of these countries have been attacked over and over and over and over again. You understand? That's the propaganda that America puts out there. Not only that, America has naval bases all over the earth. Naval bases everywhere. America's all-seeing eye is everywhere. You understand what I'm saying? At the drop of a dime, they can send troops off anywhere. But you know that's America's Achilles heel. Having people everywhere, that's America's Achilles heel. You understand? Go ahead. What you going to say?
If I could, so would 9/11 be looked at as an attack on American soil?
All right. Let's look at it like this, right? And we here in the ISUPK, we don't get into the conspiracy theories and things like that, right? But if you go into the Brookings Institute report on the 9/11 attack, they before they went over and unalived Osama bin Laden, they were in talks with Al Qaeda, right? And they said that Al Qaeda, and it's written in their papers, that Al Qaeda said, if you can show us any piece of evidence that Osama bin Laden had anything to do with 9/11, we'll turn him over to you ourselves. America didn't have any evidence. They couldn't give them anything. America ended up invading over there in Iraq. Now, like I said, we're not into conspiracy theorists, but this is public information on Brookings Institute.
Right.
This is an app that I have on my phone, and you can put it on your phone and you can look through any government documents and things that they have done in the past, right? I had a friend of mine that was over there in Afghanistan at the time, and they said most of the time they was over there guarding poppy fields.
Hey,
so remember, if I'm not mistaken, they unalived Osama bin Laden in 2011.
Right.
So why didn't they come out? Why didn't they come out until 2020? They was over there for 20 years, remember? Or they came out in 2021, remember? Because they was over there for 20 years. So if they captured and unalived him in 2011, why were they still over there?
Okay. They left weapons over there too, right, sir? They left a bunch of weapons over there too, didn't they?
Well, after they took all of the resources up out of there, after they had all of the poppy that they needed to make the cocaine and to make the opium and everything else they needed, them weapons, nothing. You understand? And think about it, right? Think about this too, right? The whole time during the COVID shutdown, what was the one thing that didn't shut down?
Yeah, it ain't never like sir.
So now this is history too, right? Let's go back to June, I want to say June or July 2019. 33,000 pounds of cocaine coming into the port of Philadelphia. On the same day, 330 pounds of cocaine coming into the port of Baltimore.
Right.
Just after COVID hit. It's not ironic. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Okay.
Again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. That's just information. You can also look that up on the online. You understand? If you look at the Port of Baltimore, and I want to say 2019, get the year right, 2019, June or July, and the same day it was 2 drug busts here in Baltimore and in Philadelphia. The same day. Now, I'm going to ask you another question, right?
Go ahead, sir.
Who got arrested?
I heard. I ain't even know that.
Let's check this out, right? When you put a shipping container on a boat, it has to have a destination. It has to have a place of origin. Has to have a company or business or somebody who's shipping it. You can't do that. People know it's coming. People know it's going. You understand what I'm saying? Now, again, we not
real quick.
Go ahead.
No, it's always a paper trail when it comes to logistics.
That's what I'm saying, Cap.
When it comes to logistics, especially on that scale, even when it gets off of the ship and on a truck,
and that's what
there's a BOL, and on that BOL tells you where it came from and where it's going to.
Right.
Yeah.
So even if I could with that real quick, you got a shipping container. It has a destination with a trucking company or somebody with a truck.
Right.
Somebody with a CDL, someone with that's been cleared through the Department of Transportation. Like it ain't like this just wound up here.
Right.
Come on, go ahead. I mean, I just
I'm glad you popped in, though.
Go ahead.
That's the whole thing, right? It's like I said, we not no conspiracy theorists. I'm just giving you facts and stuff that you can look up. You understand? All of these things come together. America is a deceitful nation. Just like Cap said, right? You have to have a place of origin. You have to have a place of destination. Somebody has to send it to a shipping company. You can't send anything to a shipping company and not have where it's coming from and who's sending it and where it's going and who's supposed to be collecting it. Nobody got arrested on that. Nobody got arrested on the one in Baltimore either. You understand what I'm saying? But one thing that I would like to say is whenever they make a drug bust like that of that magnitude, it's always stuff that gets through. A lot of times they do a bust like that to make you what kind, sir?
Real quick, just to add, who got arrested on an custody file?
We
talk about flight logs. You talk about listen. This is their nature,
right? Exactly. Right.
You got they talk about millions of gigabytes or billions of files. And you got two people.
Right.
Number one and number two. Nobody else arrested.
Right.
Just something to think about.
Yeah, and again, Salakia, sir, if I may, again, that's a part of their deception. And if your brain not really going, you gonna go with the flow of the wave. You understand what I'm saying? You go with the flow of the wave, and you not really asking yourself, hold up, wait a minute. Just like Cap said, 1 million gigabytes of data or whatever, and only 2 people, something just the numbers don't add up. And then, like you said, you blacked out the people's names who were on the Epstein list, but you didn't block out the victims. Doesn't make sense to me. You understand what I'm saying? Really doesn't make. But America's a deceitful nation. That's the deception of America. You understand what I'm saying? And just like I said, those free elections and things like that. No, elections have never been free. When you running for any kind of big office or anything like that, they tell you have to get a war chest. A war chest is donations from basically lobbyists, people who will back you, people who gonna give you money to push their agenda. You understand? A war chest. Why do you have to collect money if you running on righteousness? You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
You not running on righteousness. You gotta collect money because you gotta be fed and you gotta feed people. You understand what I'm saying? That's the deception of America. You want to finish that scripture?
Come on, sir.
Go ahead.
Is Micah chapter 2, verse 1.
Right.
When the morning is light, they practice it. When we start from the top, sir?
Con.
This is Micah chapter 2, verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity.
And we know that's the oppressor. Go ahead.
And work evil upon their beds.
Like we said, they stay up late at night. They stay up burning the midnight oil to you understand, to create plans and deception. You understand? To create, you understand, iniquity. Go ahead.
When the morning is light, they practice.
Hey, listen, when the time is right, they practice it. It says when the morning is light, when that time is right, they practice it. You understand? Go ahead.
Because it is in the power of their hand.
Hey, listen, it's in the power of their hand. The oppressor has all the power. We have given all of our power to the oppressor. You understand? We've given all our rights and everything to the oppressor. We have nothing but hope and change. What did Obama say? Hope and change. Listen, that was a deception right there.
Right. Okay.
Anybody that's in a position like that can never work, or it can never be a benefit to the children of Israel. They could never be a benefit to the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
when you're in positions like that, we looking at people like what did Cap say the guy name was? Hakeem Jeffries, and what's the other guy? Vance Jones. What's the other? All of these black people who have positions of power, or who seem to be in positions of power. These are people that we cannot rely on, because these people are a part of the machine of the oppressor. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. And the reason why they're allowed, listen, when you get to a certain level within a government system, in a system run by the oppressor, when you get to a certain level, you have already signed your life away to continue the machine of the oppressor, to continue to go in one direction. Think about, what was that mayor name? What was the black mayor that just left New York? He conceded and stepped off. He stepped off because of the scandal he was in. What's his name? I can't remember and I can remember his name so much. Remember, he used to be wasn't he a police chief or something like that?
Yeah, okay.
In New York, and everybody thought that everything was going to change because he knows the people.
Eric Adams.
Was it Eric Adams? That's his name right there. You understand? Think about when he got up there. He got handcuffed. He got handcuffed when he got up there, but he accepted it. He told all of the changes that he was going to do. He said he was going to reform the police department, right? And once he got in there, he said, no, I'm going to leave the police department as it is. Because he drank the Kool-Aid. He accepted keeping the system the way it was in order to get paid. And we see what happened to him. You understand? Yeah. This is the problem with us believing that, oh, well, we can work it out. All we got to do is get on the inside. We got to work from the inside. All of that.
Yeah, we can see him, sir. Come on, sir.
Yeah, we can see him, sir.
Can I add real quick?
Come on, sir.
Is there any sense of so-called blackness or so-called woke for the people? they'll be in total opposition to America, total opposition to the system.
Right.
Like Moses, he was like, you know what? Nah, this dip came back. Like, all right, we gotta dip up out of here. Y'all go ahead to fall back to do what y'all doing. And he was there to second command of Egypt.
Right.
These cats is just in the system, you know, me in the thick of the political party, vote for me and all of that. Have we not seen that it hasn't worked?
Right.
They are part of the system. They ain't fixed. There's no fixing the system that's against you.
Salaki.
Yeah, go ahead.
Salaki, sir. And they continue to add sin upon sin because they make you believe that you need to vote and to get change made. They make us believe that the only way change gonna be done is if you get out and vote. You got to get out and vote. We've been voting for how long? So you get up in here, you get your hustle on, then you want me to vote you back in so you can continue to get your hustle on. He told the people that he was going to turn the New York City Police Department inside out and change it. He changed nothing. I don't know if you've seen that that video from a couple of months ago when they went into them people cookout and was kicking over the cookout, the grills and everything that the people had out there in New York. They was kicking over the grills and everything, telling them, oh, this is illegal, coming in just kicking everything over. Wasn't even giving the people chance to move their stuff. You understand? This is a beast we're under. This is a beast we're under. And if anybody can convince you to that they gonna make this better for us, then they lying. They totally lying. You understand? Shalakia, sir.
Shalakia, can you hear me? You absolutely there's like this so-called this system. He had some technical difficulties on his end.
Oh, okay.
He back live.
Okay.
But we gotta recognize and understand this. If I could just interject for 1 second. This is absolutely on par with the topic of what have you. Democracy versus dictatorship.
Right.
What we think is a democracy it's an illusion.
Right.
You mentioned it often, the illusion of inclusion.
Yeah.
But how long we been voting? How long we been following politics and trying to join the system? That's the total opposition against it. You know, we fought for civil rights and we fought for all this and all this. And how the hell we fight for all of this and it got worse?
Right. How about that?
No black ministers. I mean, that little to none. We talk about entire black communities thriving and producing on its own without our counterpart.
Right.
With little to zero to nothing as far as resources is concerned, and we gave all of that up to be a part of a so-called democracy.
Right.
It was a whole sham. Like it's an afterthought of a black community.
Right.
When we talking about your little block, not even little block, but as far as the eyes can see, a black community. Just imagine growing up, your corner store being owned by a black person.
Right.
Your local corner store, your local grocery store, your bakery, your veterinarian, your dentist.
Yep.
Yeah, everything that a community has and needs, we had it and we gave it up to be a part of a nation that only oppresses us. We should not try to join America. I just wanted to say that when we get these hours out back in the chat.
Okay.
Hey, listen, check this out. Salakia, a Thawada to Captain Saparia with that input. That was real heavy what he brought out. Think about this. Deuteronomy 7, chapter 3. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3. I'm just going to give you the beginning part of that. It says, neither shall thou make marriages with them, right? Marriages doesn't only mean a marital union, but it also means making deals, shaking hands with them. That's what we do. That's the worst thing that we always do. This is the reason why we can't hold on to the things that we have, because we always want to make deals. We always want to shake hands. You understand? We are a fair people dealing with an unfair people. You understand? Never make marriages with them. We can't give ourselves to a people who refuse to give themselves to us. You understand what I'm saying? This is the reason why we have the 12 tribes. This is the reason why we have 12 tribes to choose from. This is the reason why we need to support our own and build ourselves up. Just like Cap said, this is the reason why we gave everything away to be under the thumb of the oppressor. You understand? Hey, Alazar, check it out. We're going to pull up dictatorship.
Okay.
What dictatorship means. Listen. Dictatorship, and I want people to see, a lot of times we really don't know what a democracy is until you begin to compare them to other things. We see how America's being ran right now. You understand? We see what's happening with America. Let's look into a dictatorship and let's see what a dictatorship is. You got that?
Come on.
Let's read that.
This is the Wikipedia definition of dictatorship. A dictatorship is a form of government which is characterized by a leader who holds absolute or near absolute political power. Politics in a dictatorship are controlled by a dictator, and they are facilitated through an inner circle of elites that include advisors, generals, and other high-ranking officials. The dictator maintains control by influencing and appeasing the inner circle and repressing any opposition, which may include rival political parties, armed resistance, or disloyal members of the dictator's inner circle. Dictatorship can be formed by a military court that overthrows the previous government through force, or they can be formed by a self-cult in which elected leaders make their rule permanent. Dictatorships are authoritarian or totalitarian, and they can be classified as military dictatorships, one-party dictatorships, and personalist dictatorships. You want me to keep going, sir?
That's it. That's it. Hey, listen, that was heavy. Listen, did any of that sound familiar? Listen to what it did. Listen, it says a form of government where absolute power is concentrated in the hands of a single leader or small group. That means you can have a Pete Hegseth, you can have a J.D. Vance, you can have a Donald Trump, you can have a what's that Pam Bondi? You understand? Small group. You can have a single Donald Trump, or you can have a small group. Think about what you just said, right? Operating without constitutional limitations. So think about this. International law says that the United States cannot go over and kidnap the president of Venezuela.
Right. Damn, sir.
Listen, just like you said, right? Listen, go back a couple of sentences on the what's the name when it describes what a dictatorship is. Go back and read the one you had.
Okay, all right. Politics in a dictatorship are controlled by a dictator, and they are facilitated through an inner circle.
So stop right there.
Come on, sir.
Facilitated by an inner circle. That's how Donald Trump operates right now.
God, bro.
By an inner circle. Go ahead.
Of elites that include advisors,
Say that again. Advisors. Go ahead.
generals,
Generals. Go ahead.
and other high-ranking officials.
And other high-ranking officials. What's that dude named? Lindsey Graham?
Okay.
Mark Rubio?
Yeah, nice.
You understand what I'm saying? Listen, we looking at America as though America, like a democracy, is any different from a dictatorship. Listen, it says effective democratic process characterized by authoritarianism. That means they take control. They have authority over every aspect. These regimes often rely on suppression of dissent, surveillance, and control of the media. Suppression of dissent. Let's see what that means, right? It says involves powerful groups, governments, corporations, or institutions. Who pulls the strings in America? Corporations and institutions. Using, what is that? Measures to silence, punish, or marginalize opposing viewpoints.
Right.
Listen, when did all of that, you can't say certain things, you have to say unalive. You have to say, you have to say essay. You understand? Listen, think about this, right? Why would you tell somebody they can't say unalive, or they can't say the other way? You got to say unalive, or you got to say essay. Why would you do that? Listen, you don't got to answer that because I'm going to give you the answer, right? Listen, if the majority of your people do a particular thing, you want to soften the blow when they start talking about your people. When the majority of your people, when the majority of your people essay people,
right?
When the majority of your people rob people, you have to soften that blow. So, we're going to control freedom of speech. That's supposed to be a constitutional right, right?
Right.
Supposed to be able to say what you feel and how you feel.
Right. Real quick.
Come on, sir.
I had something real quick. I know you about to wrap it up. That's not only online. That's in federally funded curriculum.
Right. Yeah.
Like some federal funded curriculums, certain words are banned from being taught or used in particular schools.
Right.
And which is ridiculous. I don't got the full list on me right now, but it's like a whole list of things teachers and federally funded curriculums cannot say to this day, which is horrible. But go ahead.
Right.
So like you said, if I could
go ahead.
Real fast, because it's heavy that Cap said that, and you know what I mean. Because you still, if a man wants to be identified as a woman, you can't call that a man. You gotta call him a woman. You gotta respect that.
Right. Exactly. Think about it. Right. Listen. You can't say certain things. Your constitutional rights have been extinguished.
Yeah, okay.
The very thing that the one thing that you could use to be heard is being extinguished.
Right.
The people that you put in office to speak for you are passing laws to control you. That's a dictatorship. That's a dictatorship. You can't peacefully protest and somebody can put their boot in your mouth.
Right. While
you're peacefully protesting and can unalive you, and then they can come on to the news and say, well, he was a what they called him, They called the guy, and it was the oppressor. I'm using him as an example, though. They called him a some kind of terrorist, and they said he pulled a gun. Now it was oppressor on oppressor crime, right? But when they showed the video, they showed the cop take the gun from him when they had him subdued on the ground. They showed him walk over by another car. They showed another cop screaming he got a gun. They showed the one cop pull out his gun and start shooting him in the back. Dot, dot, dot. His rights was extinguished because they said he had a legal right to bear and carry a firearm. He was licensed. Now, it was an oppressor, but I'm just giving an example of how a democracy is not what we think. Listen, authoritarianism, a system of government in which the ruler has unlimited power. Trump is telling them, you can go out and do this. Don't worry about it. I got your back. Hey, grab Proverbs 29:2. This is going to be our last scripture right here. I didn't get through everything.
Hey, before he can I circle back, I just want to mention something that I said earlier about the stuff he can't teach at the school. Hold on. Can you hear me better now? They call it ending radical introduction in K through 12 schooling. The Department of Education and all the cats, they literally damn near don't want them to teach about slavery, basically. Critical race theory, all those, they trying to pull funding from any school that's teaching actual real American history. And they're like, they're using terms like reverse racism. Like, these are things that, like, this is like against law and freedom of speech.
Right.
We're going so far as to change the speech and the language to, like you said earlier, soften the blow.
Right.
This is crazy, man. Go ahead.
But when we look at it, right, when we look at it and you begin to look at democracy and dictatorship, you begin to notice that these two things, what we see, all right, what's written on paper as a democracy is not what we have ever seen. When you see what a democracy is and then you read what a dictatorship is, you begin to understand that these are two and the same thing.
Right.
These are Salakia. These are one and the same thing.
Okay.
There's no difference between Napoleon Bonaparte and a Donald Trump. You understand? Or what do they call Mussolini? There's no difference. When you control the speech of a people, when you control media, when you control what a people say, when you control what a people can do, you understand? That's a dictatorship. A lot of people don't understand that we are actually in a dictatorship. If they said ICE can come in with no warrants, is that, somebody tell me, is that or is that not a dictatorship? ICE can come in without a warrant and detain you. No compensation. You understand? Where are we at? You got that scripture real quick?
Go on, sir.
Let's read that.
This is Proverbs chapter 29, verse 3, right?
Verse 2. Proverbs 29:2. Hey, Alazai, is Alazai frozen? Listen, check this out.
You look like you froze up for a second.
I'm gonna go ahead and read this, sir, because we're gonna end this.
Carl, go ahead.
Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. You got it, Alizar?
Come on, Con. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay, it's the Proverbs chapter.
Cut out again. Said Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2.
Go ahead, but
When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Listen, the only time we're going to get it together is when we are in authority, when the righteous are in authority. When I speak of righteous, I'm talking about the ISUPK, Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, following the Most High, under commanding General Yohana. You understand? That's righteous rulership.
Okay.
But it says, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Everybody across the face of the earth is mourning today because the wicked beareth rule. These people are ruling over us with an iron fist. You understand? And with that, we're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. We've been bringing this truth since 1969. And what is that truth? That truth is that the so-called blacks, the so-called Hispanics, and the so-called natives are the true biblical Jews of the Bible. And with that, shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
Shalom, Israel. It's that time again. The ISUPK, under commanding General Yohana, presents the Lord's 57th annual Passover. That's right, the Lord's 57th annual Passover, April 4th, 2026, in Houston, Texas. All Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are commanded to observe the Lord's Passover. This will be the biggest Passover to date. You do not want to miss this. Fresh lamb, fresh wine, and bitter herbs as commanded by the Most High. Only $200 per person, ages 17 and up. The biggest event of the year. There is only one Passover, and it's under commanding General Yohana. See you there, Israel. Shalom.
Nobody else there to compare to. Train for war, men of war, and war like apparel. Prefer our leaders, can't get between us. Watch where you stepping.